Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new weekly reading vlog. I'm sorry about this lighting, but I'm in a slightly more relaxed setting. I'm sat in the middle of my bed today and basically I've had to prop you up on a couple of things in order to film this. By the time I spent propping you up on making sure you were the right height, I probably could have just gone into the other room and set the filming setup that I normally do up and film in there, but hey ho, I wanted to be a little bit more relaxed. I've just finished out the vlog. I've just tied the vlog up from last week, so I thought I'd start it's Monday today, it's the 15th of June, and I thought I'd start this week's weekly reading vlog. So yeah, apologies for this shadow here, there's nothing I can do about it, just gonna have to put up with it. So I'm not quite sure where the reading's going to go this week, if I'm honest. I know for a fact that I'm going to be reading The Switch because I've already started it. I started it yesterday on Sunday and I made about 70 pages through it yesterday on Sunday, and today I've so far got to page 130, so I've read almost 70 pages today as well. I feel like this is going to go really quick. I mean, I'm there and I've sat down and read it yesterday and today. I feel like I can read another chunk of it this afternoon, and I feel like then I can read it tomorrow, and potentially I'd like to finish it tomorrow on Tuesday and then get going with something else. I'm conscious of the fact that I've only got a couple of weeks left in the month, but obviously we're mid-month now. Let's see how. So I have this full week, next week is a full week, and then Monday, Tuesday of the week after are the last 2 days of June. So I've got a good solid 2 weeks left and a couple of days. So I'm conscious that I need to get the next Poldark book read, but I think I might leave that until next week. The Four Swans, I think, is the next instalment in that. I think I'll leave that till next week, and I think I'm going to try and concentrate this week on just getting a few books read. So after I'm done with The Switch this week, I'd quite like to read On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Obviously Angie Thomas is the author of The Hate U Give, and I've heard really good things about this one, and I was actually a little bit naughty and I did buy 3 extra Audible credits. They work out so much cheaper when you buy 3, like £6 a credit, than if you were to buy a single audiobook. It's like it was almost the same price to buy 3 as it was to buy one specific audiobook. So the main character in this, Brie, I believe she's very into rap, and from what I've heard from other people, the audiobook actually has the rap in it, and I've heard that the audiobook is quite a good route to go. So I would quite like to, like I said, I've bought extra credits, so I would like to use a credit on the come up and listen to this as well as physically reading along at the same time. So I think that'd be quite good to do. So if I can get The Switch done relatively early on in the week, I'd like to think I can get this as well finished before the end of the week's out. And the other book I've kind of got on the radar, if I get to it this week or not, I'm not sure, is The Help by Catherine Stockett. This was actually given to me by one of my mum's friends. She was like, ages ago, she was like, oh, Sophie likes to read, doesn't she? Here you go. Have tried to read this before and it just wasn't my thing at the time, but I feel like now this is sort of like almost the perfect book for me. We've got historical fiction element to it. It's a book set in 1962. We've got sort of American culture, which I know that this series, the Wilderness series, is a lot further back in history, but it's like a similar sort of vibe. I feel like this is going to be a really interesting read for me, and it's one that gets talked about whenever you talk about diversity in reading. It often gets mentioned, so would like to also make progress if I can this week. It's a bit optimistic, but I kind of feel like I could do it. I kind of feel like it would work, as long as I get the Switch done early enough, and then I can maybe make progress through this on audio, but also read this alongside it at the same time physically. I'm not sure. We'll see what we can do. That would be really good, and then it will really bump my reading up, and then leaves me open for a couple of options next week as well. So that's the plan. Haven't got anything planned, as in like anything we're doing necessarily this week. My other half just has to go to work tomorrow. He's got to accept a delivery in of PPE items. I don't know when else he's expected to go back to work. I think he will be due back in store next week to prep the store for opening, and the store's not due to open, I don't think, until either the 29th or they're even talking about the 1st of July, which is a Wednesday, I think. So I'm not sure when he's going to be proper back to work, but he's got a few things going on this week, but I haven't. So still don't know when I'm going back to work. So not quite sure how the rest of this month's going to go. I'm a little bit annoyed that it took me so long. It took me 2 weeks to read this, because it's kind of like set me back a little bit this month with my reading, but it's not the end of the world. So I'm going to go now. What time is it? It is nearly 3 o'clock. I'm going to try and read a bit more of The Switch, and then I think I might go out just for a quick walk. I want to map out the distance of a particular walk, just so I know how far it is. And I did say that I do want to make a point of doing some physical activity every day this week, some form of exercise, whether that's walking, cycling, or doing an actual physical workout. Like, I want to do something every day this week to help with the whole weight loss thing that I'm on at the moment. So I think I'll read a bit more of The Switch, and I'm in the middle of a chapter where I stopped, which is not like me, but I just had to stop, otherwise I wouldn't have. And I'm going to finish the chapter, maybe read another chapter, tidy up this mess I've just made all over the bed, and then I'm going to go out for a walk, I think, and might even film a clip outside for you, so you've got a little bit of interesting content for you. That'll be nice, won't it? So I don't know if you can see, but I live right near a quarry. I'm just out on my walk, and they're all in there, I'm guessing, digging out what they need for the bricks. I'm so lucky to live in such a beautiful part of the world. So lucky. And I think sometimes I take it for granted, but it's beautiful. So I'm out for the first time in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to Waterstones! So I've been really disorganised again this week and have filmed no reading updates throughout the week, which is what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a weekly reading vlog. It's becoming at the moment a little bit of a, I'll tell you what my plans are at the beginning of the week, and then at the end of the week I'll tell you what I have actually done. And I do want to rectify this next week, so sorry about this. But this week has been a bit hectic. We've had some things going on in our personal life, which has meant we have wanted to support and be there for a family member that's going through quite a tough time. So we were getting in some nights at 1 o'clock in the morning, because we were just spending all day and then all evening with a particular family member who just really needed us. And once the children had gone to bed, which is a bit later than normal because they're not at school and stuff, once the children had gone to bed, it was kind of like then we could have a chance to have a grown-up conversation about the children in earshot, knowing that no one was going to be hearing what we were saying. And I think 2 nights on the trot we got home, it was gone 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had mail to open. Like, I'd been out all day, hadn't seen the mailman like in the morning, hadn't seen the postman in the morning, and was opening my mail like early hours of the next day. It was so I didn't respond and get to people that I'd received things from like straight away necessarily, because yeah, anyway, so there are a couple of the clips for this week which you would have already seen. One of me on a lovely walk, which I was going to walk every single day, and then did one walk on the first day of the week and then didn't do it for the rest of the week. I was like, I'm going to walk every single day, I'm going to exercise every single day, I'm going to be really good with my exercise this week, really kickstart and really help continue with the weight loss by being active, blah blah blah. It didn't happen. I went for a walk once. Anyway, you will also see that I did go to Waterstones. I felt a little bit guilty going because I came out with nothing from the shop. I didn't buy anything whilst I was in there. I made a point of not touching anything on the shelves. I would have only touched things if I really wanted to buy them. But it was just nice to go in, experience it. It'd be a very normal experience in the sense of
It was very quiet in there. Everyone was keeping their distance. Everything was doing what they should have been doing. The staff were all wearing, I don't think you can say staff anymore, I don't think it's PC. The colleagues were all wearing like visors and stuff. Everything felt very safe and very controlled, and everyone was very prepared, if that makes sense. So there was a station, like an antibacterial station if you wanted to use anything. And yeah, someone did say to me, I think it was my mum, that she's seen that in some bookstores anything you picked up would go into a basket and then that would be quarantined. I didn't see any evidence of this in my local Waterstones, so don't know if I just missed it, but no one made a point of saying to me when I walked in, anything you pick up, please can you ensure it goes in this basket and it'll be quarantined. So I don't know if that's just some bookshops or if that's every bookshop and I just missed it, but it wasn't made apparent to me. But like I said, didn't touch anything anyway. So I did feel a little bit guilty, like I said, about going in, because was it really a necessary trip, because I wasn't buying anything. And I kind of went in thinking if I saw something that really stood out to me then I would, but I kind of just did it for me, for the selfish for the selfish reasons of doing it for me. So reading updates. I barely read anything last week. With everything else that was going on, I just haven't had the brain capacity to read. I have finished a book this week. I finished The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I read this in one day practically. So I picked it up Sunday evening, and probably by a similar time Monday evening I had finished it. I read it in probably just over 24 hours. I talked about in my opening clip for this vlog that I was going to read this and it'd probably take me a few days, and I'd like to have it done by like the middle of the week. I got it done on Monday, but for the rest of my reading that I have done, this may well have taken me most of the week to read. I really enjoyed this. Really interesting concept. Really what I needed, I think, at the beginning of this week, having something a bit lighter after reading a dense historical fiction last week. And it was just nice to keep on the contemporary sort of bandwagon, because I read a contemporary last week as well and really enjoyed it, and I feel like it was good after finishing Lake in the Clouds to read a contemporary. Enjoyed the story, enjoyed the plot and the storyline to it, enjoyed the characters. I've straight away when I'd finished this, I finished this like close to midnight Monday evening, probably just around 11:30, quarter to midnight. And the next morning when I woke up, I did actually go and pre-order Beth O'Leary's next book, which is available for pre-order on Amazon if you're interested, which is called The Road Trip, I believe. Didn't even check what the synopsis was. I feel like Beth O'Leary has now become like an auto-buy author for me. Like, you see that she's got a new book coming out, I will pre-order it. Really enjoy it. Everything that I've read by her so far, so the flat share and this, really enjoyed both of them. This is different to the flat share, and obviously because it's got a different concept, but I just loved it. I loved the kind of really quaint feel to it. So for anybody that doesn't know the story of The Switch, it's about a granddaughter and a grandmother who swap places. So the granddaughter, she lives in central London. She is forced to take a sabbatical from her job, 2 or 3 month sabbatical, following a bit of a bad experience in the boardroom, pitching to a client, and her grandmother is trying to find love. Her husband, so the grandfather in the story, has run off and divorced and got married to somebody else, and left the grandmother on her own. And it's really nice to see the effect that the grandmother has in central London and what she does for the people and the community and the flatmates and stuff. It's just really lovely, and highly recommend it if you want something that's still touches on important subjects as well. There's a huge theme of loss in this, so the characters have lost a family member, and that's kind of dealt with as well, and so trigger warnings for that if that's something that might be hard for you to read. But that is dealt with in a really sensitive way, yet still impactful way, and the story is still an entertaining, fun, good story, if that makes sense. But really enjoyed this. And then after The Switch, I picked up On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I want to say this is a sort of companion novel for The Hate U Give, because this is set in the same fictional place called Garden Heights. So even though it's not got the same characters in it, it kind of follows on the incidents of The Hate U Give are mentioned in this. This is kind of, you get the feeling that this is about a year later, and they still talk about the events of what happened, and then the protests that happened following the death of an unarmed black man in their community. The main character of this, Bree, she is a rapper. She's following in her unfortunately dead father's footsteps, and she is becoming a rapper. And what's really interesting is that I'm listening to this on audio as well, and the rap sections in the book, the narrator actually does rap as well. It's really cool, and it's nice that you've got the raps and the lyrics in the book as well. You know, it could be completely done, I feel, without that, but that extra adds an extra element to it, which I think is really nice and makes it a little bit more real in that sense. But really enjoying it so far. I'm about 200 pages through. Oh, exactly 200 pages through, and it's taken me like most of the week to read those 200 pages. I just haven't had the brain capacity really to deal with it. What with everything else going on, my mind has definitely been elsewhere. So this is obviously going to have to roll into next week, and hopefully this will get done early part of next week so that I can move on with some more of my TBR, because my reading game in June has not been great so far, and I feel a little bit deflated by it, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a competition. I read for fun. I'm just going to roll with it. So I thought I would show you. I bought a couple of bits, had a couple of bits arrive, and thought I would just show you what I got. So I did see on Instagram somebody was selling a few of their books, really cost effective. They were just asking purely for postage. They just want them to go to a good home. So I actually picked up Circe by Madeline Miller. This looks brand new, and I believe it was listed as like brand new, never been read, or maybe been partially read and put down, but it doesn't look, the spine's not broken, it doesn't look like it's been read. This is a book that I've heard a lot about on Ashley from a Frolic Through Fictions channel. It is the telling of Circe, and I believe this is kind of like a modern day retelling in the sense of it's accessible and readable, but I also believe that this tells her story is a long story of like quite a long period of time, and I've heard so many good things about it, and it's something that I do really want to delve into. And for just purely the postage price, which I think was £3.50-ish, I think it was a bargain. I don't think I'd get it elsewhere in such good condition for that cheap. So yeah, really grateful that I saw that sale post on Instagram and snipped it up. I also bought through one of my Instagram friends. She does, she works with her boyfriend, and they have a company called Nintendo Digital, which you can find on Etsy. I'll leave the Etsy shop link down below. And basically they sell amiibos, which are character cards sort of thing. They have electronic chips in them, and the idea is from Animal Crossing is that you can buy these chips, these what they're called amiibos, and then it's a way of inviting sort of like your dream people to your island, your dream characters to your island, and then you can ask them to live there. So I have had a play with them. I have invited Fauna to my campsite. So these are like my ultimate characters that I would like. I'm just waiting for someone to move out now, and I'm working on that at the moment. I'm not time traveling, so it's a little bit more tricky, but I'm avoiding somebody, and hopefully they'll get the message soon and they'll move out. So I've got Fauna, who is a deer, and she's just gorgeous. I've got Meringue, who is a rhino, but she's got like a strawberry horn. I don't know if you can see that. She's got a strawberry horn, and she's just really beautiful. She wears like an apron and stuff. And then I've got Tia, and Tia is an elephant, but she is kind of like dressed up in like a maid's outfit, and she looks like a teapot. Like she looks like she's got a teapot on her head. she's called Tia. So these are just really cute, really inexpensive as well. They're £3 an amiibo, which I think is one of the cheapest places you can find them online. And yes, for any Animal Crossing fans who watch this video, I'll make sure I leave the Etsy shop down below. It's my friend Zara who runs it with her boyfriend, and she's also got a Bookstagram, so I'll leave her Bookstagram in there as well. I went into town sort of last minute on Saturday because we were not sure if we were going to get to my other half's stepdad over Father's Day, and if we weren't, we didn't want to send a card or anything in the post, just because of the fact that Corona is still out there, and we didn't want to do too much cross-contamination and send them unnecessary mail. He probably would appreciate just as much a text, but at the last minute we were going to potentially see him, obviously at a safe social distance. And so we had to quickly pop into town. We tried our local shop, but they just had birthday cards, didn't have any Father's Day cards. So we popped into town quickly, and the CEX was also open. So I actually did treat myself to my first physical game for my Nintendo Switch. So this is the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. So Crash Bandicoot was originally on the PlayStation 1. I remember playing it, and Crash Bash, which was like a bit more of a arcade style game. Where you had different levels and you could multiplayer and stuff. And this has the original 3 Crash Bandicoot games remastered for the Switch. It's £28. It's not a lot of different to buying it online, but I saw it and I went, you know what, I'm just going to get it. Obviously the little chip, the game card is in there. And I also treated my other half to a new game for his PlayStation as well, which wasn't too expensive. I think it was Grand Theft Auto or something, because he doesn't actually have Grand Theft Auto for the PlayStation 4. He has it for the 3, but we don't use the 3 anymore. So yeah, so I was really happy to get this. Haven't yet played it because I haven't had a chance, but my other half is back at work next week, so hopefully I will get the opportunity to play this and not feel too guilty during the week whilst he is at work. And then when I got home on Sunday, final day of the week, I came home to a parcel from Bryony. Bryony's Books on Instagram. This is The Country Bride by Dilly Court. I mentioned that I'd seen this series in the supermarket in a week or 2 vlogs ago, I can't remember, and I put the trilogy on my wish list on Amazon, and she very kindly gifted it to me. I'm in a gift giving group and she very kindly gifted it to me, so very, very thankful for that. And just need to try and get the rest of the trilogy now, and then I can binge it and read it all together. But very, very thankful for that. Thank you so much, Bryony. So this is it for this week's weekly reading vlog. Not much reading, unfortunately, but hopefully next week will be better. My other half, like I said, will be back at work, so there will be an element of being able maybe to do some more shots throughout the week and little video clips throughout the week, because I've not got him potentially making noise in the background or whatnot. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this weekly reading vlog. Sorry it's been a bit naff. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope next week's is better. But like always, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I really do appreciate it. And like always, what have you been reading this week? What have you been up to? Have you braved the shops yet? Have you done your first Waterstone shop or bookshop trip since lockdown? I'd love to hear all about it. Mine was very uneventful, like I said, and I didn't buy anything. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.